Study Abroad Monday. Today is the first Study Abroad video. I'm so really excited to start this part of the Study Abroad experience on my channel because this is something that is completely unknown to people. So I'm very excited to make it not unknown and make it as easy for you guys as possible. As many of you guys are starting to do now, you're starting to applying for study abroad opportunities and starting the applications and scholarships and stuff like that, and it all looks like a big pile of mess. It is probably the most stressful time of your life and the not easiest time of your life. But honestly, it'll all be worth it when you're on that study abroad trip and having these study abroad adventures and making memories. This video is going to talk about my top 5 tips that you need to consider while you're going through the study abroad process. It's not something specific, it's just top 5 things that are going to come in handy throughout the whole process, and it's stuff for you guys to remember. So let's get started with tip number 1. Tip number 1 is actually very, it's a general tip. It's something that you're going to probably hear throughout the entire study abroad experience, but I made it tip number 1 because it is very, 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 very important. Tip number 1 is have fun with the experience. As you're continuing to go through this process and how stressed out you're going to be of when you're trying to figure out everything and figure out your application, try to have fun with it, because not only are you're making a big step into your future goals, you're also going to go to a different country and experience things that you can't experience in the US or haven't experienced before. You're also going to find more things about yourself. So having fun with everything is going to make this process and this hard part of it a lot better. And keep in mind that the closer you get to finishing this process, the closer you get to your study abroad experience. So definitely have fun with it. Tip number 2 is actually very, very important. It's a little bit more important than tip number 1, but they kind of go together in a way. Tip number 2 is be yourself. When you're applying for all these scholarships and applications, you're going to be writing a lot of essays about yourself. So you definitely don't want to lie to them and tell them things that you're not. And the whole point of study abroad is try to figure out what you are as a person and how can you portray that in your career, because your career is going to be something that you love. You're not going to do something that you don't love. So definitely portray yourself in that application and portray yourself when you're applying for the study abroad experience. The second part of that is make sure you pick a study abroad experience that is something that you're really going to enjoy. Don't do a study abroad experience that just because your friends are doing it or just because it's got the top ratings or something. If there is a country that you want to go to, make sure you're passionate about it. Not only are you need to be passionate about what you're studying, you need to be passionate about where you're going. So don't pick like France or the United Kingdom if you're not that interested in it. Pick something that you are interested in. I mean, I've heard of students go to countries that I've never heard of. So while I continue rambling, just take this opportunity to really be yourself and figure out what you want in your life and what you want your study abroad experience to portray about you and about what you represent as a person. Tip number 3 talks about the administration portion of the study abroad experience. Make sure you know what you need to do. Check all your applications, check all of your due dates, make sure you have those written down somewhere or write down a schedule of what you need to do, because everything is in a timely manner. You only have so much time to do certain things, and you want to make sure that you get every experience possible and that you apply for every experience possible, especially if you're tight in terms of scholarships. One student I know previously did not do this, and they missed out on a lot of scholarships because of it. So definitely take some time, look online, write down every due date that you have, and write down what the application needs. Like if you're applying for the Gilman, for example, write down all the portions of the Gilman that you need to write out. Like for the example, the Gilman needs a follow-up project, you need an essay, which is a page and a half, and you have to do the whole application. So make sure you write that information down so you as yourself know in your brain that I have to allow this much time for this certain thing and not wait till the last minute and miss out on these great opportunities. And also a part of this, do not wait until the last minute, because you are going to get so pressured and you're going to need to fill out all these things, and you're not going to have time to portray yourself. You're not going to have time to actually really think about what you want to say to the people reading your application. So definitely do not wait until the last minute. Tip number 4 is stay organized. You're going to be applying for so many different applications, whether it's scholarships or the application itself for the study abroad experience, or you're going to need letters of recommendation or different types of paperwork, or if you just want to print out the In Your Shoes printables, keep them in a nice little organized folder. I did this. This is actually my folder that I use not only for my study abroad pre-experience of filling out the application and scholarships. I also use this folder when I was in England, keeping all my plane information and stuff like that. So not only staying organized means keeping everything together pre-departure, but it's also post-departure too, because you're going to need a lot of these things later on. Or if you don't like the binder system, accordion folder is your best friend. I actually use this accordion folder for my school books now, and it's very nice. You can put folders in it, notebooks if you need to write notes, or papers if you have papers that you need to send in of like recommendations, or you need to edit your essay or anything like that. This is a nice, very easy go-to if you don't want something too bulky. I am going to have a separate video on both organization systems, so stay tuned for that. And definitely stay organized, because staying organized is a good key way to make sure you have everything you need and you can turn it in a timely manner without having to look for it or rummage through things. Tip number 5 seems very, very easy at first, but as you continue going into the study abroad experience and you get like halfway through it, it becomes a very hard thing to remember. Tip number 5, do not waste your time. Wasting your time is not a good thing, because everybody is on a time schedule. Every application is on a time schedule. If you're late, you don't get approved, or you don't see things, or you miss out on something, and you don't want that to happen to you. Now, a lot of people are probably looking at me like, well, I have everything budgeted. I have everything budgeted in a planner, and it's all pretty. And then you get halfway through the application process, and you get so busy with everything else, like school, internship, job, kids, everything. And then you look at your planner or your written out due date schedule and see that, oh wait, I have a scholarship application due next week that I haven't even written the essay for. Yep, that has actually happened to me a couple of times. I didn't know that the Gilman existed, and when I found out that the Gilman existed, I had 2 weeks to submit the application. That's 2 essays plus editing and everything else to get essays edited by Office of National Scholarships, and I had to do all that in 2 weeks, and that was hard. So I recommend do not waste your time. If you know that you're going to do study abroad, that it is something you want more than anything, apply for that application. Start looking at programs, see what programs interest you, and then once you have that secured, start going over to scholarships, because obviously you don't want to pay a cajillion dollars to go study abroad, because let's be honest, we're students, we don't have a cajillion dollars to pay for study abroad, so that's why they present scholarships. So what does this mean? Don't waste your time. Make sure you have everything in order. Make sure you keep your due dates in order. Make sure you give your letters of the professors or people that you're asking letters of recommendations from. Make sure you give them enough time. Don't rush it, because you want to present yourself in the best way possible. So make sure you give other people enough time so they can present you the way that they know who you are. That is all my tips for top 5 tips of study abroad in general. Keep in mind, guys, on Wednesday we're going to have scholarship video. Not sure yet what kind of scholarship video it is. It's probably going to be a list of resources of where you can find scholarships and their due dates. I'm hoping to probably do something like that, because we're starting to get into the time where it's time to start applying for those scholarships. And don't forget, guys, on Friday we are doing a Gilman video. Talks about the Gilman Award. It's just a general overview of what the Gilman Award is. It's going to collaborate with the Office of National Scholarships workshop on what the Gilman is. So definitely go to that as well. I'm going to post a video with this one of the special events that are happening this week. There's a lot of good things happening at USF, so if you are a USF Bull like me, definitely go to all of these events and find out as much information as possible. Definitely grab those brochures. This is the time to find out, because let's get your dreams. Let's make them happen. Go Bulls. Have a good day, guys.